Let's continue our discussion on Michael Easter's Scarcity Brain. We are still talking about narrow-mindedness. Whenever someone overthinks a minor aspect, gets trapped without realizing it, and can't pull themselves out, it's considered narrow-mindedness. Today, we focus on status. Status is a real thing. Take Shandong province in China, known for its strict hierarchy. When a group gathers for a drink, the seating arrangement and the order of toasts become a matter of study. Acknowledging differences in rank, while maintaining a sense of equality, is essential for social harmony. But no one can deny status. In fact, we often overthink our status, leading to intense anxiety and harming our health. I hope today's talk will help you understand this better. We've previously mentioned Jeffrey Pfeffer, a Yale professor, who wrote, Power, Why Some People Have It and Others Don't. It includes an interesting study. All civil servants in the UK receive the same benefits, with no special medical treatment for higher officials. So, do lower-ranking civil servants live healthier lives due to less worry? No. Statistics show that, even in the UK, the higher the status of the official, the better their health, and the lower their incidence of age-related diseases. Researchers excluded factors like working hours and salary, leaving status itself as the only explanation for its impact on health. The higher your status, the healthier and happier you are. Nobody wants to be in a constantly subordinate position. Being subservient in front of a boss causes anxiety, depression, and increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases. People understand this well. Surveys show that people prefer promotions over salary increases. They'd rather be the big fish in a small pond than a middle manager in a large company. Money can improve basic living conditions, bringing absolute happiness, whereas status gives you a sense of superiority, relative happiness. Material scarcity can be solved by economic growth, but status scarcity is permanent. Status is all about comparison. Our scarcity brain constantly scans for scarce resources, and status information. From top leaders to company backbones to grassroots employees, everything from office decor, cars, clothes, to the cups used in meetings reflects status. Confucianism thrived on such knowledge. The most elegant way is subtle differentiation, with everything appearing similar at first glance. This is not unique to China. People worldwide value status. Evolution has wired us to be acutely aware of social hierarchy. We have emotions specifically related to status. Embarrassment, guilt, shame, jealousy, envy, sympathy, and pride. These emotions reflect comparisons of status, or our perception of its rise or fall. Status is unique, because it's not self-determined. Socially determined. Your status is decided collectively by others. To raise your status, you must influence others, which is why we are sensitive to influence. Speaking in front of a group can make you extremely nervous. You feel society is constantly re-evaluating your status. You are so sensitive to status changes that you worry if people whispering might be talking about you, or if a vague comment is a subtle dig at you. Numerous studies show that conflicts between people are primarily about status. Two young men fighting over a pool table aren't really fighting for the table, but for status. In Detroit, the most common reason for murder is not money, drugs, or girlfriends, but threats to status. An interesting statistic in Easter's book is about air rage incidents, conflicts occurring among airplane passengers. Such incidents, though not very common, occur around 4,000 times out of over 1 million flights. Initially, researchers thought air rage might be due to delays, cramped seats, or high ticket prices, but these weren't the main reasons. The fact is, if there is a first-class section, the likelihood of air rage among economy passengers is 4 times higher. If economy passengers have to pass through first class when boarding, the likelihood increases 8-fold. In the confined space of an airplane, people feel acutely aware of their lower status, triggering an instinct to fight. Think about it, every time you walk past first class, don't you feel a bit disgruntled? You're not flying any faster, in first class. We're all going to the same place at the same time. You look ridiculous. This is similar to mocking the tasteless houses of the rich, a form of self-consolation. The reality is, if you truly didn't care, you wouldn't mock them. We are so sensitive to status, yet it only exists in our minds. Biologically, there is no difference between people. Everyone looks, behaves, and thinks similarly. Not only do British civil servants have the same healthcare, but modern middle-income people enjoy most products and services similar to the wealthy. The phones and computers you use, the movies and games you watch, the cola you drink, are the same as those used by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. First class and economy class land at the same time. Our focus on tiny status differences is a form of narcissism. Peking University students care deeply about Tsinghua University students. MIT students are most competitive with Harvard students. Android users look down on Apple users. These are pointless competitions and mental strain. Social media exacerbates this strain. Comparisons of minor differences are now gamified, with likes, shares, and comments as the score. Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist, originally studied the brain's political thoughts, but now focuses on the impact of social media on teenagers' mental health. Haidt believes the weaponization of social media is the main cause of increased anxiety, depression, and even suicide among girls, as they are particularly sensitive to subtle changes in their status online. These are all examples of narrow-mindedness. The essence of small differences is, they're small. Most status difference signals are imagined. Here's a secret called the spotlight effect. Extensive research shows that, when people do something in front of others, they overestimate others' judgments. You think every action is being scored, but in reality, people don't care much about your performance. You believe you are under a spotlight, the main character on life's stage, with everyone watching, but they're not. They're focused on their own performances. You might worry about a slip during a speech, fearing it will ruin your reputation. In reality, most people didn't notice your mistake. They were busy worrying about how they looked listening to your speech. You might pick a meticulously chosen outfit, but nobody notices it all day. Even if you button a shirt wrong, it often goes unnoticed. Real life isn't like Olympic gymnastics, with every move scored by judges. Status is important, but everyone is more concerned with their own status than constantly reassessing yours. Gamblers think they play for money, shopaholics think they buy for points, employees think they flatter for promotions. These are all driven by greed, hatred, and delusion. The spotlight effect tells us most of our anxiety, comparisons, and oppression under power are self-inflicted and unhealthy. British civil servants could live more carefree and perhaps live longer. If you must lead a team to accomplish great things, you must wield power. Status is crucial. But for most people, in most situations, status competition should be mild. A well-functioning society needs hierarchy, but it must be a gentle hierarchy. Respectful, but emphasizing joy. Status has a paradox. The more directly you pursue it, the less likely you are to achieve it. Jessica Tracy, a psychology professor at the University of British Columbia, studies status-related emotions and has a theory. Tracy wrote a book on pride, the emotion associated with personal status elevation. She describes two types of pride. One is authentic pride. You accomplish something remarkable. Perhaps win a competition, or create something great. Even if unnoticed, you feel proud. You deserve this pride. It's healthy, self-comparative, and motivating. Recognition enhances it, but isn't essential. The other is hubristic pride. You're not doing remarkable things, but trying to show off your greatness. Maybe it's driving a luxury car, or wearing a fancy watch, or outright boasting. You hope this influences others' perceptions, elevating your status. Tracy notes a paradox. When you try to elevate your status by showing off, you simultaneously lower it, because you appear arrogant. Tracy suggests a harder, but more effective approach. Achieve truly remarkable things. Status will naturally follow. In other words, status should be a byproduct. It must be given willingly, by others, not demanded. For a gentleman, even discussing status is inappropriate. Everyone knows who holds the highest status in the room, but no one talks about it. Showing concern for status diminishes it. It's too petty. Scholars long avoided discussing status, considering it taboo. Only recently, with a compassionate view to help the disadvantaged, has status research become prominent. This paradox highlights the problem with meritocracy. Our scarcity brain's narrow goal shouldn't be pursued directly. Those things should be byproducts of pursuing true goals. That's today's content. Next, we'll discuss the abundance loop.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.